$300 a month might not be a huge number for many people, but if it repeats month after month for many years, it becomes a very large amount of money for the vast majority of Americans today. This used to be my morning routine. A handful of pills, one for cholesterol, one for blood pressure, another one just in case. And this pile of plastic. It cost me over $300 every single month. The feeling wasn't like receiving a prescription for health, but more like signing up for a life sentence with monthly payments. But what if I told you that I cut that bill down to almost nothing, that I feel more full of energy and at peace with my heart health than ever before, and that I did it with the approval of my own colleagues just by focusing on 3 incredibly effective tips. And this is what might surprise you the most. I am a cardiologist. Yes, me. The person who spent his entire career helping others fight heart disease, only to end up becoming his own patient. The story I'm about to tell isn't just medical advice. This is my personal journey. So stay with me because in this video I will share those 3 tips with you from 2 unique perspectives. One is from the doctor who understands the science behind them, and the other is from the patient who applied them to change his life and save hundreds of dollars a month. I knew all the risk factors in theory. I had advised thousands of patients on diet, on exercise, on the dangers of stress. But ironically, I ignored the signs in myself. The prolonged fatigue I blamed on night shifts and a heavy work schedule. The slightly elevated blood pressure at times I attributed to stress. I told myself I was a classic case of the shoemaker's children go barefoot, a health expert who neglects his own health. The wake-up call came during a routine health checkup performed by a colleague of mine. I will never forget the concerned look in his eyes when he looked at me and said, "Hey man, your numbers are not good at all." In that moment, I knew. The feeling of sitting on the other side of the examination table, listening to the words I myself often said to patients. It was so different, so unfamiliar, and so scary. I was diagnosed with a high risk of a heart attack with both my LDL cholesterol and blood pressure at alarming levels. And just like so many of my other patients, I left with a long prescription. Holding those pill bottles in my hand, I didn't just feel the burden of the cost. I felt a deep sense of failure. But it was that shock, that feeling of helplessness that completely changed the way I see medicine and health. I knew that I didn't just want to get off this pile of pills for myself. I also owed my patients a better path, and that path began with the very things I put into my body every day. The first tip, and perhaps the most important foundation, I call eating like a wise investor. Forget about complicated and restrictive diets. Instead, I adopted a strategy called the portfolio diet. This is an incredibly smart method. As a doctor, I already knew about the studies on this diet. It was developed by leading scientists and is recognized by the American Heart Association. Studies, for example, one published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, have shown that it can reduce bad LDL cholesterol by nearly 30%, a result nearly comparable to first-generation statin drugs. But knowing about it in theory is one thing. Applying it yourself is another. And as a patient, I can tell you it really works. I started investing in 4 main food groups like a portfolio for my health. The first is soluble fiber found in oats and apples, which acts like a sponge that washes away cholesterol. The second is plant sterols found in some fortified margarines or yogurts, which help block the body's absorption of cholesterol. Third, simply a handful of nuts, like almonds, each day. And finally, soy protein, replacing a portion of red meat with tofu. I cooked those meals myself, and I know it's completely doable. The results were astonishing. After just 3 months, my own bad cholesterol level dropped by 40 points. During my follow-up visit, my doctor looked at the results and said, "Excellent, we can try reducing your statin dose by half." At that moment, I not only felt relieved about my health, but also relieved of the financial burden. That was the first $75 I saved each month. But diet is only half the battle. The other half lies in how we move intelligently. My second tip doesn't require you to run a marathon or go to the gym every day. It's much simpler. It's the 15 golden minutes after a meal. I understand very well the mechanism of blood sugar spikes after each meal, especially a meal high in carbohydrates. This constant spiking is like small waves continuously hitting and damaging the delicate lining of the arteries, creating conditions for bad cholesterol to stick. A gentle 15-minute walk right after eating will help your muscles immediately use that sugar for energy, thereby significantly reducing this dangerous spike. And as a patient, I turned it into an indispensable habit. Instead of sitting down on the couch right after dinner, I just put on my shoes and walked a lap around the block. It's not strenuous at all. On the contrary, I felt my energy improve noticeably and no longer had that feeling of sluggishness after eating. The best part was that I could see the results right on my home blood pressure monitor. My numbers began to decrease steadily. This simple habit combined with the diet helped get my blood pressure much better under control. This allowed my doctor to start reducing the dose of my blood pressure medication. That was another $40 to $60 saved each month. A free habit helped me save real money. Now we come to the final tip. The piece that completed my health puzzle. This is the secret I mentioned at the beginning of the video, an extremely important but often overlooked mineral that is magnesium. Many Americans are deficient in this mineral without knowing it. I have reviewed the studies from the National Institutes of Health (NIH) and clearly understand the role of magnesium. Picture this. Calcium is the mineral that helps muscles and blood vessels contract, while magnesium is the partner that helps them relax. When you are deficient in magnesium, your blood vessels cannot fully relax, leading them to be slightly constricted, which increases blood pressure. It is the body's natural vasodilator. I did not just go out and buy and use it on my own. This is extremely important. I went to my doctor and said, "I've read about the role of magnesium in blood pressure. Can you test my magnesium levels and let me know if supplementation would be appropriate for me?" The results showed that my levels were indeed on the low side. Therefore, I began supplementing with magnesium specifically. A magnesium glycinate under his supervision, and the change was truly noticeable. My sleep was deeper. The muscle aches I once thought were from statins also disappeared, and my blood pressure became more stable than ever. This was the final key. With my blood pressure naturally stable, I was able to completely stop the last blood pressure pill I had to take. A bottle of high-quality magnesium costs only about $10 to $15 a month, replacing a $60 prescription. That is no small saving. This journey has taught me an invaluable lesson, something that no medical school can fully teach. The best doctor isn't just the one who prescribes medicine, but is the partner who gives you the tools so you can heal yourself. If you've watched this far, I believe you are truly concerned about your own health. On this YouTube channel, there are many more in-depth videos on how to do it. Check the description or watch other videos on this channel. I believe it will help you not only with your health, but with your finances as well. If you found this story and these insights valuable, please help me spread it by hitting the like button. And let me know in the comments below. Finally, subscribe to the channel because our healthcare journey has only just begun. Thank you for listening.